So welcome back to another video. Today is going to be a training tips video and we're going to be talking about the 5 best recovery tips or the 5 best recovery categories, and there's going to be more than 5 tips, but we just thought we'd break it down into 5 categories that you can focus on, and also there's sort of a layer of importance. So if you don't get the bottom layer right, then there's no point even trying to do the next layer. If you haven't got some of the basics down, there's no point trying to do the more advanced recovery techniques, because the basics matter the most in terms of health as well as running performance. And make sure you watch to the end, because we are going to be talking about my number 1 recovery tool, and I think this is by far the best tool for recovery in terms of versatility and how much it helps you recover over a short period of time. So the bottom layer of the pyramid is the essentials, and that is sleep, nutrition and hydration. And I know this is sort of common sense for a lot of people, but I can't stress it enough. If you don't get these correct, then there's no point trying to do other recovery techniques as well. First of all, sleep, and there is a common, recommendation of 8 hours or 7.5 hours to 8.5 hours or around that margin per night. I would suggest trying to have at least 8 hours, and some people cope with less, some people need more, and also incorporate naps in there. And that's because when you sleep, a lot of the recovery process goes on, and also it allows mental recovery. For people who may struggle to sleep, there is some strategies that can help you sleep. I've found some supplements such as ZMA, which is just a supplement featuring zinc and magnesium, as well as CBD from Pure Sport to make sure it doesn't have any THC in, or you could use sleep teas, or there's some sleep sprays. There's many things that can help you sleep in that sense. I also found that going off your phone earlier on in the night is really helpful, and also shutting down earlier. I know it sounds obvious, but just try going to sleep earlier, try going to bed earlier, not having caffeine after a certain time in the day. Try maybe blue light glasses to block blue light if you do want to use your phone. There's many ways, but I'm not going to get into too deep in this video, and maybe that's probably a whole video in itself. There's lots of information out there on how to help you sleep. So nutrition is just as important as sleep. And when I'm talking about nutrition, I'm not talking about advanced like protein or supplements. I'm talking about having a balanced diet with carbs, fats, protein, fiber, vitamins and minerals, everything you need in a balanced diet. And again, I'm not going to speak from a nutritionist point of view, because I'm not one, about the exact food groups and how you can get everything in. I'm just saying that it is important to know that, especially for runners, carbs and protein are significant. So you're talking pastas, breads, porridge, fruit like bananas, many different forms of carbohydrates, as well as many different forms of proteins, such as you can get protein from meat, vegetables, protein shakes. There's plenty out there. And I'm just saying, from a nutritional point of view, having a balanced diet is important, because it allows all the bodily functions to go ahead properly and ultimately improves recovery. In terms of hydration, which is also on the bottom layer of the fundamentals, there's many different things out there. What say you should drink a litre of water per 1,000 calories you burn. You should drink a litre of water once you've burnt like a kilogram. So for every kilogram you've burnt during training or water loss, you should have a litre of water. And if you're ever thirsty, make sure you do drink water. If you're constantly thirsty and you are drinking water, go see a doctor. I would say I have around 4 to 5 litres, maybe 6 litres a day, and that's sort of in line with calories and then a bit extra. And obviously if temperatures increase, you're going to sweat more, so have more water. That's a thing a lot of people neglect in the summertime, especially, not drinking more water to adjust to sweating more. And the second layer is actually mental recovery. And I know a lot of you people clicked on this video and it's like, how do I get my legs to recover? And we are going to get onto that in more detail, but I really wanted to get the fundamentals down. Mental recovery is more important than any of the other strategies that we're going to talk about in this video. If you're not mentally recovered, it can lead to burnout, or you're just not really feeling up for training, and many other mental issues, which as a whole means that you probably don't want to do the extra things to recover. It also can affect your sleep, can affect your diet. And what I would say for recovery on the mental side is to have a work-life balance or training-life balance. So when you're at training, 100% focus on training. When you're not training or not doing any stretching or core or stability or whatever, don't think about running, because it'll just become obsessive and there's no escape. And it is important to have a difference. For me, the third layer is nutritional timing. So we've already touched on nutrition, and now this layer is a bit more precise and how we can incorporate timing our nutrition in order to aid recovery. And the main thing for this is ensuring that you get your carbs and protein in post-workout or run. So again, there's some time periods out there, so try and eat something within 15 minutes and then a meal within an hour. I would just say try and eat something as soon as possible after, what features carbs at bare minimum, and carbs and protein if you can. So you're talking maybe protein shake, a recovery shake with maybe banana blended in it, or a recovery shake with carbs and protein in as soon as you can after training. I wouldn't say 15 minutes, I wouldn't say 20, half an hour. Just get it in as soon as possible, because not only does it improve recovery and starts the recovery process and also replenishes your stores, it also improves adaptations from training, meaning that you essentially get more out of your training session. And then also I just aim to eat a full meal as soon as possible as well when I get home, usually after training, with carbs, protein, fats, vitamins, minerals. So vegetables, for example, chicken pasta bake with vegetables, or spaghetti bolognese with vegetables. Always trying to ensure you get everything in, because you've lost a lot. Fourth layer is blood flow / deep tissue, and I've grouped these together because they kind of come hand in hand sometimes. So first of all, we're going to talk about blood flow, which is essentially increasing blood flow by increasing heart rate whilst trying to minimize stress on the muscles. Essentially what blood flow does is it transports oxygen to your muscles, which then oxygenates your muscles and helps them recover, whilst also transporting waste away from your muscles. So that's essentially the recovery process. And why I say whilst reducing stress is because you don't want to cause any more damage to your muscles or just stress your body out more, because ultimately that will prevent recovery rather than aiding it. It would be easy cardio, and any form of cardio can actually do this. So swimming, biking, running, as long as it's easy cardio and not causing any muscular stress. This is when you need to focus on impact reduction. So if you are choosing to run as your recovery or easy day cardio, I would say either running in a super shoe, which I know sounds daft, but it minimizes impact on the ground and reduces the chance of injury risk as well as the damage on the muscles. Or if you're not wearing a super shoe like the Next Percent, I would say wear something like the Nike Invincible, or this is probably my go-to for a recovery shoe. It's just got super foam, high stack, reduces the impact, and ultimately improves recovery whilst running or doing any cardio. Other options are the New Balance Fresh Foam More V3, Asics Gel Nimbus 24. There's plenty out there. Generally speaking, ones with the new foams with a high stack always help. More blood flow strategies are hot baths. Heat causes blood vessels to widen, meaning it's more efficient for blood to get to the muscles again and ultimately increasing blood flow. When you are dealing with anything with heat, because it also could be a sauna, for example, you need to ensure that you're drinking more water, because dehydration will cause you to not recover quicker. In fact, it'll probably do the adverse effect and cause more harm than good. So make sure if you are using heat strategies that you're also hydrating efficiently. Whilst we're on the subject of blood flow, comes my favorite recovery tool, and that is the Firefly. I sadly don't have any on me because they are extortionately expensive and I don't get paid or given any anymore, which I used to. And I did want to use this tool because if you are rich or happy spending a lot of money on a recovery tool, what runs out quite quickly, I know it sounds bad, but this is by far the best recovery tool out there. It's the Firefly. It essentially twitches your leg muscles, causing like a pulse. And essentially it's like you're constantly walking whilst being still. So you're getting the blood flow because your legs are contracting, but you're not voluntarily doing it and you're not causing any stress to your muscles. And that is just creating so much blood flow. And I have slept in these before, and the difference it makes between how you feel when you go to bed and when you wake up is ridiculous. You can also wear them in the car, on long flights, or even in public. You can literally do it anywhere to improve recovery. They are by far the greatest tool. And I've also included deep tissue in blood flow because generally when you do have some sort of deep tissue treatment, it also increases blood flow. And for example of deep tissue treatment is muscle guns, deep tissue massages, or muscle rolling. So I would say massage guns are my favorite because they're versatile and you can take them anywhere. Muscle rolling and deep tissue massages are kind of the same. Use a good muscle gun, and for me that is pulse roll because it is smaller and it's just got the same power. So it's easier to handle, easier to take about, and also you can probably use it a bit easier, especially on the upper body where you need to sort of get angles and stuff. It's a lot easier to navigate. So pulse roll is probably the best for that, and I'll leave a link in the description if you do want to get them. We will get commission on that. It doesn't cost you any more. It just helps out the channel. And finally, the last layer of the pyramid is anti-inflammatory. And the reason this is last is because I don't think you should use it during training, and it should only be used during competition. There's studies that if you try to reduce inflammation too much, then it stops adaptations. And I can't link the study because I can't find it now. One of the points was if you have 4 ice baths a week, it completely gets rid of any adaptations from training. So ice baths or raising your legs above a certain height reduces inflammation, which is amazing for instant or quick recovery during competitions, let's say between heats and finals or the day before a race. But if you do that after a hard training day, it can probably speed up the recovery process too quickly, and therefore means you won't receive the same benefit from that training. I'm just going to say a disclaimer, I am not a specialist in terms of a qualified person to give advice like a physio, a nutritionist or a doctor. So I would say take all this information as from my personal point of view. If you have any concerns about your health, which may be stopping you recovering, then go and see a doctor. The same applies if it's some sort of nutritional thing or an injury, then go and see the appropriate physio or nutritionist. Thank you. Please comment what videos you'd like to see next, and also comment your favorite recovery techniques so other people can see them.